Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? So, with the Drstone this week, we're getting some relatively interesting things, guys. Not only are we seeing our main guy deal with death, but we're getting this true feeling that regardless of where Psyche goes now, um, he's going to have a chance of either making friends or making enemies. And that's something I'm already really digging about this show is not only will he kind of get this, camaraderie from a lot of people that want him around, but at the same time, there's a lot of people that probably want him, dead already. So it's becoming this weird narrative that what if anybody that doesn't like him runs into a person that wants to know if he's alive or dead, right? That's always now kind of on my mind of one of the things that could easily catch our characters off guard, or at least give them less time and preparations, because every single person or every single group of people our main character meets is a good chance of him exposing himself to someone that he should not be, or the information about him getting out that there's someone's talking about science, and that science that he's talking about um, is becoming more and more popular amongst like normal conversation or something along those lines, right? So that's now in the back of my head of, I know that's probably not what a lot of people are thinking. They're probably just like, oh well, it's pretty crazy that this all is happening. Like, I'm one of those weird people that actually look at all the details and can find stuff that isn't so much being thrown in front of us, and look at that more than I look at the more basic stuff of the sulfur and all that stuff that transpired. But to be fair, I don't really know why this show had like garnered any real type of hate, or not hate, just it's more like toxicness, right? Like, it seems like there's a certain stigma about if you talk negative about this show, that you don't deserve to talk about the show at all for some reason. And I've been looking at a lot of comment sections of people who just don't really care for this show, and I can understand some people's like complaints or whatever. It's kind of just every single day he can make something brand new, and that brand new thing gets him closer to doing something. Or as of right now, everything he's been doing supposedly has been towards a pill that started 3 episodes ago, or 4 episodes almost now, right? So that's something people are pretty agitated about, I guess you can say. It's like, well, you should have been able to make this faster. It's like, well, they're trying to take a realistic approach in finding all this stuff, but how does all this stuff just randomly keep falling into his lap so easily? Like the sulfur like emerald pond, right? Like that's a very, very not common thing to happen, just to let y'all know. To find something like that, I mean, sure, in that type of environment and stuff, maybe, but it would still maybe be a lot longer of a journey to find it. But convenient enough, it's right around the corner. Or they did travel for a bit, but not long enough for our main character to be completely passed out and exhausted, so it wasn't that far, right? Or has he been building up some muscle? um, but yeah, this episode is mainly about fear and what fear does to people like our main character, who knows a better life and a better future that was out there, that could have been had for, time and time to come, but has turned into this. And, he himself is still dealing with fear of knowing, like, the knowledge he had of the sulfur was the true fear that he was experiencing. He didn't have no other way but to look at it as he needs it for a reason, not just that, oh my god, not only do I need this, but I'm going to die trying to get this, right? Like, this will literally probably cost me my life to do this. And to have that thought process run through your head because you know how dangerous this sulfur is. I mean, the example he gives is it worked so fast that a guy bent over to tie his shoe, and by the time he barely like finished tying his shoe or maybe even started working on his shoelace, he was already done. Like, he was already dead and gone. So having that type of knowledge is very, very scary when it comes down to you now being inches away from it and you have confirmation thanks to the silver spear. I don't know how they got that man away from it within 0.1 second of, you know, the spear turning black, which I believe by the spear turning black and then working its way up was more of what they were trying to tell you is, you know, how much time and how much like space away he still had from me. He still had a good spear tip length away from this, you know, overall event. So crazy stuff this week. I really didn't expect this like weird sulfur episode, but at the same time, I'm just looking forward more and more to them actually figuring out how to save this sister, right? I just want to see the sister actually come out well, see what the main character can learn from her, like her knowing about bears and gorillas and teaching the villagers about them already was kind of interesting, or just like her knowing what bear, gorilla, and all that stuff even were was like an interesting overall topic of discussion for me, in my opinion, you know. So whatever she learned, I'm pretty sure our main character wants to find out how and what was the cause of being able for her to learn such a thing. So looking forward to seeing that. Not only that, with our whole entire like work towards just making one person better, we really haven't seen much of anything else, right? Like, we haven't seen what the two friends that we left behind to begin this journey is, you know, going through, what has been planned amongst, you know, the guy who wants to actually, you know, destroy all the humans that are still in stone and keep the younger ones alive. So, you know, there's so much that still hasn't really been accorded for. Like, we haven't really gotten any word for it. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. And if they do all that, what will be a good reasoning to why our side of science, you know, comes out on with a victory instead of getting absolutely destroyed or something like that, right? So overall, Drstone is something I like to watch, but at the same time, to think that there's a lot going on with it and there's a lot of still like plot to be happening in it, I still feel like I can turn off my brain and watch it almost, you know? Like, because a lot of the stuff they're doing, if you look it up yourself, there's a lot of stuff they're following to the T, right? But at the same time, there's a lot of stuff that wouldn't work if you just do the research and look it up as well. So if you're someone that wants this to feel as realistic as possible, I suggest you don't do that research. But at the same time, it didn't hurt me to have that knowledge, and I still watch this show, right? It just comes down to how certain fans take things that, you know, don't necessarily you know, go in their favor. They kind of get mad, or they start attacking others' opinions because their opinion doesn't have that much jeopardy, you know. So that's always been interesting to me now, seeing why people are angry or why people are doing certain things for a certain, you know, reason, and then to come to find out that it's like usually really dumb, or it's so obvious that it couldn't be one thing. Kind of like the best example was Hit and him in the Tournament of Power, when we saw that Hit was taken out, I myself wanted to believe that there was a chance that Hit actually had a clone or something, right? Hit gets eliminated, but the Grand Priest and Zeno don't really respond to it. They don't really push the God Pad or anything like that, and we don't see him on the bench besides like really quick, and no one pushes any buttons and stuff. So they're like, oh, everybody in the fandom was like, that's a clone, and if it's not a clone, this show sucks. You know, like that was just their stance. Like now they have something to cling on to try to make Hit reappear in the tournament or something. You know, like it's not gonna happen because it's already been written and it's already been, you know, greenlit to get this far. It's not like someone's just now writing this part of the story and giving it to us. So it's funny when people believe that. It's like having live streams that says they're live, but they're just showing us live footage of stuff they've already recorded, right? So I am interested in seeing where Drstone goes overall. I think this was episode like 12 or 11 already. Like this show is shooting by and it's got to get to 20, but to know that there's so many great shows coming out in October, it's only a matter of time before this show finishes up and we can actually give it a real review, you know, like actually put it somewhere for the first season, because I don't believe season 1 will finish the whole entire series or even come close, hopefully. So that's my prediction, is not prediction, but that's my hope for this show, is that they have enough stuff to talk about throughout this first season to make it entertaining, dope, cool, and have people wanting more. So then when the second season drops, they are just going absolutely nuts and blowing expectations out of the water yet again with the animation, story, and overall ways of trying to bring science into a world of the Stone Ages. So with all that being said, my anime well, I'll be dropping a crap ton of videos on you guys today, so hope you enjoyed the 4 videos. Let me know if it's too much for you or if I should drop them slower or something like that. Any types of comments are greatly appreciated because it helps me make the channel closer to being better. And if you guys are enjoying the channel and get to, you know, say whatever you want when it comes down to what you enjoy or why you enjoy something, that's also the main goal, is that you just have somewhere you can say what you want and mean it, or just have fun and talk, you know, whatever you want to talk. So regardless of what it is, I hope to see you in the comic section, and I will definitely talk to you all in the next one. So with that, peace.